Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're zoning in on Southern California. It's really a tale of two scenes right now, isn't it?
It really is. You've got this incredible contrast. On one side, you see tens of thousands out on the streets, huge, colorful protests, almost like a festival.
Yeah, celebratory even.
Yeah.
But then the flip side is, well, millions of people just bracing themselves, holding their breath about their health insurance costs possibly skyrocketing.
Exactly. That sharp difference is what we're digging into today. We've pulled together 5 key stories, all happening around mid-October 2025. They touch on political clashes, community action, and some really urgent deadlines.
And our goal, as always, is to get past the noise, right? Give you the actual details, what it means on the ground, from new laws to these huge financial stakes.
So you're fully up to speed.
Okay, let's kick off with the most visually striking thing.
Oh.
Those No Kings protests on October 18th, especially in LA. The descriptions make it sound, well, not like your typical angry march.
No, not at all. Gloria Molina Grand Park, thousands of people, many in inflatable costumes, frog masks. It sounds more like a parade.
Which seems intentional, because you had House Speaker Mike Johnson calling it a Hate America rally. That's a serious charge.
Right, but the costumes and the fun atmosphere, they kind of disarm that rhetoric, don't they? It becomes harder to just paint everyone with that broad brush.
We saw that quote from Nikki Hubler, one of the attendees in costume. She said wearing it fights their narrative, showing it was a fun protest.
It's a smart tactic, really. Using humor to make a political point and maybe force people to look at the actual substance instead of just reacting to the tone.
And the scale was huge, not just LA.
Oh, massive.
Mhm.
Some crowdsourced numbers put it between 4.2 and 7 million people nationwide.
Like,
All 50 states. California alone had something like 300 separate events happening at the same time.
wow. So what was the central message? What were all these colorfully dressed people pushing for?
The big political goal was drumming up support for Proposition 50. That's an initiative on the November ballot.
Okay, Prop 50. What's the aim there?
It's basically California trying to level the playing field for the 2026 midterms. The idea is to temporarily redraw the state's congressional districts to favor Democrats.
Temporarily. Why?
Well, it's a direct reaction to what happened in states like Texas, where Republicans successfully redrew maps in their favor gerrymandering. So California is using its own process to try and, push back nationally.
A legislative counterattack, basically.
Pretty much. And you heard that tension in the speaker's messages, too. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson talking about the Trump administration's war on Chicago.
And locally, Assemblymember Isaac Bryan, who represents Ladera Heights, he talked about economic unfairness. Said people are tired of starving while the federal government continues to give handouts to billionaires. Strong words.
Definitely. And even with the fun vibe, there were underlying security worries. Hunter Dunn from 5501 SoCal mentioned something pretty serious.
What was that?
Apparently, the city attorney's office tried to get a court injunction lifted right before the protest. An injunction that protects journalists from excessive police force.
Really? That seems provocative.
It does. Now, the city council stepped in and stopped it, unanimously. But it just shows the kind of pressure points that exist around these large gatherings.
And interesting side note, Pedro Pascal was there
Yeah.
from Fantastic Four.
Yeah, spotted in the crowd. He's known for supporting unions and workers' rights, so it kind of fits. Shows the broad coalition these events can draw.
Okay, so all this energy was channeled towards getting Prop 50 passed in the special election on November 4th. Which brings us to the next logical step.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that vote is secure?
Exactly. You get millions excited. You need them to trust the process. And there's always so much noise, so much misinformation around voting, especially mail-in voting.
So what's the state saying? How are they reassuring people?
California's Secretary of State Shirley Weber has been really clear on this. They're emphasizing the layers of security. Like every single mail ballot is tracked, from when it goes out to when it comes back.
And when it does come back?
Mandatory checks, signature verification against what's on file. They inspect the envelope for any tampering. If anything looks off, they contact the voter directly to sort it out.
That sounds thorough. What about Election Day itself, if someone mails it right on November 4th?
That's a key point. The advice is crucial. If you mail it on Election Day, don't just drop it in a blue box. Go inside the post office and ask the clerk for a manual postmark.
Why manual?
Because that guarantees it shows the November 4th date. It has to be postmarked on or before Election Day to count. That manual stamp is proof.
Good tip. And the drop boxes. Are they secure?
Oh, yeah. They're designed to be tamper-resistant. They're locked, bolted down. And they're emptied regularly by trained staff, importantly, bipartisan teams following strict chain of custody rules.
So you can track your ballot online too, right? See when it's received and counted.
Absolutely. Transparency is key. You can go to the official state or county websites and follow its journey.
Okay, shifting from the election mechanics back to policy action. Assemblymember Isaac Bryan, who we heard from at the rally, he was also the author of a significant new law Governor Newsom just signed.
That's right. AB 1269, better known as Waukesha's Law.
What does Waukesha's law do?
It mandates something that sounds basic but apparently wasn't happening consistently. It requires county and city jails to promptly tell families if someone in their custody gets seriously hospitalized or if they die.
Promptly notify. That seems like it should be standard practice.
You'd think so, but the law is named after Waukesha Wilson. She died in LAPD custody back in 2016. Her family wasn't told for 4 days.
4 days. Oh, my God.
Her mother, Lisa Hines, described it as the longest 4 days of my life. They had to find out from the coroner's office themselves. This law aims to prevent that kind of awful experience.
And the timing seems critical, looking at recent numbers.
Tragically, yes. The data that pushed this forward is grim. LAPD jail deaths jumped 400% in 2023 compared to the year before. And as of mid-July this year, 2025, 26 people had already died in LA County jails.
26? That's staggering.
It's the second highest number of deaths on record for any year in LA County jails. And reports like one from the Vera Institute of Justice paint a picture of severe overcrowding and staff issues, calling the system dangerous.
So Waukesha's law is about basic human decency and transparency in those terrible situations.
Exactly. It forces that immediate notification, though it's worth noting it wasn't universally supported.
Who opposed it?
The California State Sheriff's Association. They expressed sympathy, but argued the bill left, quote, many open questions about how it would actually work logistically.
But the governor signed it anyway.
He did, mid-October. So that requirement is now law in California.
Okay, let's completely change the mood now. Because on the exact same day as those political protests, October 18th, something else massive was happening on Crenshaw Boulevard.
Right. The 20th Annual Taste of Soul Festival, a huge celebration.
Huge is right. CBS estimated over 300,000 people showed up.
Yeah.
It's become this massive South LA institution.
And a well-deserved honor for the founder, Danny Bakewell Sr., happened the day before. They officially named the intersection of Crenshaw and Obama Boulevards Danny J. Bakewell Sr. Square.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Bakewell called the festival a big family reunion, which really captures the vibe, doesn't it?
It does, but it's also a serious economic powerhouse, especially for the local community.
So.
Well, you have around 300, maybe even 400 vendors there, and the vast majority are Black-owned, local small businesses. For many of them, Taste of Soul is like a crucial boost.
A chance to get visibility, make significant revenue.
Exactly. The sources mention it helps them take steps toward making their business a full-time thing, not just a side hustle. It's a real incubator.
And it wasn't just food, right? I saw mentions of health services.
Yeah, definitely. Free health screenings, flu shots. California Black Media and the Civil Rights Division had a booth focused on the Stop the Hate campaign, helping people report incidents.
That's important work integrated right into the celebration.
And they even had an LAX pavilion focused on jobs, like real opportunities connected to the airport's huge modernization project. Hiring, contracting, trying to make sure local folks benefit.
That's smart, connecting the community directly to those big infrastructure dollars.
Plus just pure community spirit. Doolin's Soul Food Kitchen gave away 800 free meals just to say thanks for the support over the years.
Wow. And big names performing, too, like Montel Jordan.
Yeah. And Tiffany Haddish was the celebrity soul chair. It really was a major event showcasing community strength and joy.
A real contrast to the political tension and the next story we have to cover, which is much more stressful for a lot of people.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to pivot back to something causing widespread anxiety. This is probably the most immediate financial worry for potentially millions of Californians. Healthcare situation.
The impending crisis, you could call it. What's happening?
Okay, so California is basically having to warn people enrolled through Covered California, that's the state's ACA marketplace, that their health insurance costs could jump dramatically next year.
Why? What's the trigger?
It all hinges on whether Congress extends the enhanced tax credits that were put in place during the COVID era. These subsidies made ACA plans much more affordable for millions.
And if Congress doesn't extend them?
then the financial hit could be huge. Analysts are projecting that the average amount subsidized consumers pay might more than double.
Double? Seriously.
That's the projection. Covered California's own estimate is a 97% average increase for their enrollees who get these credits. 97%.
That's devastating. Can you give an example of what that means for someone?
Sure. Think about a middle-income family. They might lose their entire $200 monthly subsidy, gone. Or consider older folks, say 55 to 64. Their premiums could suddenly eat up maybe 30% of their income.
30%. That makes coverage completely out of reach for many.
Absolutely. It pushes insurance from being affordable to being a luxury they just can't manage. We're talking about people potentially having to choose between health care and rent. Or food.
So why is this even on the table? What's the holdup in Congress?
It's gotten tangled up in the federal shutdown fight. Democrats want the extension. It's about $350 billion included in whatever bill reopens the government.
And Republicans?
Generally, they're balking at the cost and arguing that reopening the government should come first before dealing with this kind of spending.
But here's the crazy part, isn't it? This isn't some deeply divisive partisan issue among the public.
Not at all. That's what's so baffling. A Kaiser Family Foundation poll found over 75% of adults want the credits extended. That includes nearly 60% of Republicans.
Even Marjorie Taylor Greene said she was disgusted that premiums could double if the credits expire.
Right. So you have this rare, broad agreement across the political spectrum. People want this, and yet
it's stuck, being used as a bargaining chip in the shutdown negotiations.
Exactly. And the consequences are massive. If these subsidies disappear, estimates suggest millions nationally could drop their health insurance. About 400,000 just in California.
But in losing insurance isn't just a personal problem, right? It has ripple effects.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Carrie Sanders from the California Pan-Ethnic Health Network called it the quickest way for families to lose their economic security. More medical debt, for sure, but also more pressure on the whole system.
Meaning?
More people showing up uninsured in emergency rooms, more strain on community clinics. It impacts everyone eventually.
So Covered California is kind of stuck in limbo right now.
Completely. Open enrollment starts November 1st. Jessica Altman, the executive director, called it a pivotal moment. They've actually delayed sending out the official enrollment letters.
Why delay?
Because they're desperately hoping Congress will act at the last minute. They have two versions of the letters ready, one assuming the credits are extended and one assuming the worst-case scenario where they aren't.
What a nightmare. They're worried if they send out the letters warning about huge price hikes.
It'll scare people off. People might just assume they can't afford it and not even bother trying to enroll, even if Congress does manage to fix it later. The uncertainty itself is incredibly damaging.
Preparing for a financial disaster that almost everyone agrees shouldn't happen. Wow.
It's a stark example of how political gridlock directly impacts people's financial stability and health.
Okay, so wrapping this all up for you, the listener. It's quite a picture in Southern California right now. You've got this powerful energy on the streets demanding change with Prop 50. You have tangible progress with new laws like Waukesha's law aiming for more justice.
You've got incredible community celebrations like Taste of Soul, showing resilience and economic strength from within.
But hanging over everything is this looming threat to basic economic security for millions. Their health care caught up in a political fight that seems detached from what most people actually want.
Yeah, the disconnect is striking. The sources make it clear. Huge majorities, including Republicans, support extending those ACA tax credits.
So the question we leave you with is this: why? Why, with open enrollment just days away, is something so widely popular being held hostage in a shutdown fight? Why are states like California being forced to plan for a worst-case scenario that impacts so many lives?
Something to think about as we head towards that November 4th election and beyond.